Okay, let's get started. One second, sorry. Yeah, so for anyone who can't turn on their cameras right now, that's completely fine. I just want to have at least some kids turn on their cameras so we can have interaction. But other than that, it's fine. If you are on vacation or like whatever is happening, um, I'm gonna try to record every meeting and then I'll post it on my YouTube. So don't worry too much about I guess listening to everything I say during this meeting. I mean, you're obviously in it because you could make it, so thank you for that. And uh, yeah, I'm gonna try to present my screen, but people keep coming in, so I'm gonna have to like switch back and forth. But hopefully it should be fine. All right. Welcome to the first USC Neuroscience Journalism Club meeting. I'm so glad that all of y'all are here. This is actually the second year this club has been around. Last year it was run by this really awesome dude named Tej Patel. He graduated. He's at Berkeley right now, but he led this club, and it was something that I really, really enjoyed. It helped me get a lot into neuroscience research because I was actually really new to neuroscience last year, or any type of scientific research. And just going over papers, various articles, and looking at them and getting to discuss it with like professors from USC, those are really, really knowledgeable people. That sparked my interest a lot, and that kind of helped me get past, I guess, the first hurdle in research, which is just getting to read literature, because neuroscience literature has a lot of jargon, like half the words don't make sense often, and just getting past that with the help of a bunch of other club members and people like Tej and the professors, that helped me a lot. So hopefully I can promote some an atmosphere like that this year too. And one thing I want to make sure that everyone knows is please feel free to reach out and if you have any questions on anything, because we are all here to help you and I want to help everyone in the best way possible. So yeah. Um, for the YouTube channel and like any other resources I'm gonna upload, I'll send all the links out in a follow up email after the meetings. It's like give me maybe like 1 or 2 days, and then I'll try to send out my follow up email. Let me check if anyone else is waiting to be admitted. Nope. Okay, so I'll get started on my presentation. And also, both the professors, I didn't want to force them to be here today because it's Memorial Day, so they're not going to be here today. Professor Rust is actually going to be in Europe for like his child, I think. So he won't be here for the next two meetings, but then he's going to be here after that. And then Professor Winston's going to be here for the next meeting and like so on, further on. So yeah. Today it's just me though. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm screen sharing now. Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
All right. Y'all can still see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, like I said, welcome to the USC High School Neuroscience Journal Club. The main thing we're gonna do, actually, I'll get into that later. Um, so here's the agenda for today. I'm gonna go down introductions for all the supervisors. I'm not gonna make each of y'all introduce yourselves because it's like 40 kids here, but y'all will get to know a little bit about who I am and who the professors are. And then we'll have a rundown over the schedule because I know that was kind of vague in the website, but me and the professors and I kind of planned it out, so we have like a pretty set schedule for everything. And then we're gonna go over member duties, so everything and anything y'all have to do. And then we're going to go over the specific research paper that we're going to go over for this meeting so that we can discuss it next meeting. And then after that, I guess we'll have time for questions, but yeah, we'll see. All right. Like I said, welcome, and thank you all so much for showing up. Um, Neuroscience is a deep passion of mine, and seeing so many other people, engaged enough to show up to one of these online meetings is really motivating for me, and I hope it's motivating for y'all too. So yeah, welcome. uh, our mission. This isn't like an official mission statement. I just kind of typed this up. This club aims to encourage engagement with scientific literature and through discussion. So essentially, like I said, scientific literature is kind of hard to get into, and even if you are like a seasoned researcher, it's still hard to get into different topics or new topics because of the sheer amount of jargon and like scientific language, and also like all these different processes and experiments. They're all new to you. In each subtopic, it's like completely different. So we aim to encourage engagement with scientific literature through discussion and helping each other out as a club. Okay, so here you can kind of meet the team. Like I said, the professors aren't here today, but I'll kind of introduce them for you. Professor Winston, they both work at USC, but Professor Winston is an assistant professor at USC at the Keck School of Medicine. Her main research area includes racial or ethnic disparities in Alzheimer's disease. And so, if you have any questions about Alzheimer's disease or like the demographics behind any neurological diseases, she's the person to ask. And obviously, she's knowledgeable on many more things than that. But she's very knowledgeable on that topic. So, yeah, she's great to have. Professor Ruslan Rust is also an assistant professor at USC at the Keck School of Medicine. He specializes in blood-brain barrier research. So I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's essentially just the barrier between your blood circulatory system, your blood vessels, and your brain, because you don't want your blood linking into your brain and like exchanging all these chemicals and minerals. So it's a very nuanced and it's a really fascinating concept where this semi-permeable membrane just kind of keeps your brain functioning and your circulatory system functioning. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have one of the articles we're gonna go over is definitely gonna be about blood-brain barrier research. So that's gonna be fun. And then he also does a lot of stuff with Alzheimer's disease, stroke, and advanced cell therapies. Um, I'm Sunwoo Choi, and I'm a senior. I'm an incoming senior at Westwood High School. I live in Austin, Texas, but I actually got to know these professors through the club last year because Tej, the supervisor last year, lived in LA, and he got to know the professors. But yeah, I live in Texas. I aspire to do more research on neurotransmitter pathways, specifically dopamine and serotonin, because I find them really, really interesting. It's almost like there's like a chemical formula or like chemical explanation behind your thoughts and emotion, not your thoughts but more like your feelings and emotions, and that's really, really interesting to me. I also am interested in neuromodulation therapy such as deep brain stimulation. I don't know if y'all took AP Psych, but that's a thing that kind of comes up. It's where you kind of fire electrical signals into your brain, and that changes the way you think, or it changes up your neural pathways, and that can assist in like depression, which is really, really fascinating. And drug development, because that's, I feel like drug development or like in pharmaceuticals, that's one area that I would like to pursue in my career overall. And that's basically the team. Okay, so here's a detailed schedule of everything that's gonna happen. Wait 1 second, someone wants to join. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna send out these slides later too, so you don't have to copy this down. But today's the introductory meeting. We're gonna go over everything about the club, anything that y'all have to do, and basically all the things that you might have had questions on. But obviously, if you have any other questions, you can keep on asking them throughout the duration of the club. Next meeting, so I guess the homework for this meeting, the article we're gonna read and the research we're gonna discuss is a specific paper called dopamine on dopamine, and it's kind of about how motivated people are different from less motivated people. And I'll get more into that later, but that's gonna be basically what we're gonna be discussing next meeting. And then after that, we're gonna try to have a discussion over Parkinson's for the third meeting. We're going to have a discussion over a paper by Professor Rust for the fourth meeting. For the fifth meeting, I was thinking about doing a discussion over a paper on Yamanaka factors, which is a really interesting thing that I'll go on more about later. But we might switch that out to have kind of more of like a voting system where we pick out all of our favorite topics from the past and kind of vote on which paper to cover that week. But we'll see on that. And then the sixth meeting, we're gonna have we're gonna discuss one of Professor Winston's papers. And for each of the professor paper weeks, like Professor Russ and Professor Winston's, they're gonna send in 3 of their papers. So we can also have like a voting session to pick one of their papers that we want to go over. And then here's the capstone project. I know a lot of y'all had questions on the capstone project. Before I get into this year's details, I want to kind of go over last year's details. So last year, the capstone project was essentially, it was kind of like after all the literature or the literature review portion of the club was done over the summer, where we'd go over the articles, we had a time where each of us individually had to basically make a capstone project. And that capstone project last year was limited to spotlight articles, which is essentially just you write an article based off on another article and kind of see the gaps in knowledge and try to fill them in. But it's essentially you're writing a review of one other article. And the other option was to do research reviews, which are just like meta analysis. You look over a lot of articles in one specific field of neuroscience, and then you get to write your own article on that and see the patterns between these different researches the previously established researches, and then you draw your own conclusions in the discussion of your research review. So that's how it worked last year. And then Tej kind of had all of us present on Zoom and recorded each of us. And um, I think that went into the website, but it wasn't anything big. This year, I kind of want to have like a virtual symposium. So I'm gonna have each of you, if you finish your capstone project, I'm gonna try to have each of you do a one-on-one Google meeting with me, and then I'll try to record you presenting your capstone project, and I'll like set up a virtual symposium so anyone can kind of have like a little science fair virtual walkthrough online. And if I can, I'm gonna try really hard. The professors and I am gonna try really hard to kind of organize a live meeting on Zoom with maybe a couple other professors, so the top capstone projects can share their research. But scheduling and everything's gonna be really hard, so no promises on that. But we'll try our best. The capstone project this year, this is essentially the basic outline of the schedule. Um, because our Let me go back. Because our last literature review meeting is on the 4th of August, that's when we discussed Professor Winston's paper of choice. After that, I'm going to go over basically in more detail what the capstone project is, and then I'm going to have each of y'all choose a topic for your capstone project and start working on it. The capstone project is going to be a paper and a presentation. So like presentation can be Google Slides or Canva. The paper, you're going to have to write a document and have like citations and everything. But with these two components, I want you to get engaged into the research you have and then try to make your own product out of it so you can, explain it to other people. On the 25th of August, I think that's when the professors said they were available. We're going to have a checkup meeting. So we're going to get everyone back together. And then the professors and I are going to be here to answer any questions y'all have on your specific research reviews or whatever your capstone project may be. And then early September, I want y'all to finish up your presentations. I want you to put a priority on your presentations because the presentation is what you're going to have to present in the virtual symposium. The paper you can keep refining until you publish it, but the presentation has a set deadline of September 15th. But of course, keep revising your paper as well during that time if you have time. Late September, I'm gonna try to get the presentation recording done. So in a span of around the last 2 weeks of September, I'm gonna try to organize a meeting with each and every one of y'all to record your capstone project presentation, so I can set up the virtual symposium, and then hopefully have the virtual symposium website published by the end of September. Um, and I know this sounds a little rushed, or not rushed, but this entire club kind of duration is cut off by October because I know some of y'all are rising seniors, and if you want to get these in your college apps, then I know early decisions usually are due late October. So we want to get all of this done by October. And October, if we can, we're gonna try to have live symposium on Google Meet. That would be awesome, and I'll just keep y'all updated on whether that's gonna happen or not. And if you have any suggestions on the capstone project or how the schedule is or how anything should function, please feel free to reach out to me because I would love other people's inputs as well. But yeah, that's basically the schedule for now. And here are the member duties. So all members of the USC Neuroscience Club are obviously expected to engage in discussion, um, do the homework. I don't want to. I don't really want to call it homework because this entire club's focus is that, which is reading research. So I would need y'all to read the research, um, look into it, take deep dives into it, and with all the resources I'm gonna send you, I want y'all to engage with the research and engage with the resources. So I guess the three main points would be one, engage in meetings. It's gonna kind of be like a Socratic seminar during the meetings. Um, for each research we read, I'm gonna make a slideshow that reviews over all the research basically. So like the research we're reading this week, the dopamine one, I'll make like a 10 slide presentation, and with that kind of goes over all the main points of the research paper. And then next meeting, I'll be going through that slideshow, and as go along, I'll open up the floor to discussions. And then after the presentation is done, we can have another discussion like a Socratic seminar on any questions y'all had, any connections or patterns you noticed, or any like new knowledge you've gained. And then the professors and I will obviously try to assist in any questions you have or chime into the discussion. So yeah, expect to talk because that's what's gonna fuel this club. Um, the second point is I expect y'all to maintain attendance. Today I know a lot of people are traveling. It's Memorial Weekend, and it's summer break, so not everyone's gonna be here all the time. But the main thing I want to do this year is keep my YouTube channel with all these meeting recordings. So even if you can't come, I need y'all to let me know. So whether that be through Discord, Gmail, whatever it is, just let me know if you're not going to be here for the meeting live, so that I can keep track of, I guess, your engagement throughout the entire club. Um, yeah, so that's going to be another point. And then if you're also not going to be here, please make sure to send 2 or 3 questions of your own from the research that you have that week. So if you're not able to be here next meeting, then let me know that you're not going to be able to make the meeting, and then send me 2 or 3 questions of your own from the research that we're going to be going over. And then I'll try to ask those questions on your behalf during the meeting, and then contribute to the review slideshows. So I want y'all to stay engaged, and I even want y'all to assume some I guess, leadership positions as we go along. So I guess starting from the second or third meeting, the slideshows I talk about, the review slideshows, I'm gonna start handing out some of the slides or like some subtopics from the researches to y'all, so y'all can make your own slides and then contribute to the slideshow, contribute to the review that we're gonna do during the meetings, and furthermore contribute to the discussions. So if you want to, this is a great opportunity if you want to like get more engaged with the club, and if you want to showcase your interpretation of the research that we're going to be going over. But yeah, that's one thing I'm going to start to promote in the next like 2 or 3 weeks. This is our research for next time. I'll go into it a little bit more right now. So the research, I'm not going to read out the whole title, but it was essentially 2 professors from Vanderbilt, I think, or an under. It was like a PhD student and a professor or something, but they wanted to see the difference between what they called slackers and go-getters. So it's essentially what it just sounds like: motivated people versus non-motivated people. And this is the research that inspired my science fair. And like after I did the USC club last year, I wanted to kind of get into science fair, but I didn't know what to do. But this research was really accessible. It was really relatable, surprisingly, because it's about motivation, and that's a huge topic. It's since y'all are high schoolers, so it was really really relatable. It was I guess applicable in daily life, and it was, I guess, one of the easier papers I could get into. So that's why I wanted to have this paper be the one that we went over first for this club. Is really really interesting, and I think it'll be a good first paper to go over. Um, Once again, I'll send out resources regarding all of these topics in a follow up email. I'll send like YouTube videos on dopamine and dopaminergic pathways, so y'all can have a bit more background and context before going into the paper. And one question that Tej got a lot last year is, you know, there's so much jargon and so much scientific vocabulary in these research papers. So what I recommend with when reading research papers is going through, never skip through anything. I know it's tedious and I know it can be really, it's hard to focus sometimes. But if you're like even just highlighting words one by one and reading through the paper is going to help you so much, and you get a giant feeling of reward once you start to understand what these what the researchers are talking about, because this is scientific advancements. These are like revolutionary ideas and you're getting to understand them firsthand from these research papers. So I know it's tedious, but try to go through the paper. Don't skip through anything. Always start with the abstract because that's going to give you the context necessary for everything. And then yeah, just try to go through everything one by one. Um, if you can't do that, the most important parts of the paper, me personally, are the abstract and the discussion, because the abstract showcases an overview of everything the researchers did, and then the discussion showcases, you know, all the discussion they're having basically after the findings of the research. So in the discussion, you can find the findings from the research, but then you can also find the implications of these findings and see what future directions could be from this research. So yeah, focus on the abstract and the discussion if those are the only things you can do, but focus on the entire paper if you can. And if you cannot get, if just like say a paragraph just does not make sense to you at all, you get like 1% of the words that are in the paragraph, then I'll send out, I think, two I guess AI thing. I don't know what to call them, AI things, but you can put you can copy and paste the paragraph that you don't understand into it, and it'll kind of give it back in layman's terms. But you got to be careful because they're not always accurate. And also, you can always ask me or the professors. So yeah, but you have a lot of resources. Just try to get into the research. Try to get into paper. It's really fascinating. It's really engaging. So try to stay focused. And if I think I'll be sending out the resources. I'll try to send them out by tomorrow night. So like around tomorrow night, you can start reading. And I'll send the link to this paper too in the follow up email. All right. So before, I mean, that's all the content from the slides. But before anything else, I want to go over one thing, which is, do y'all prefer Google Meet or Zoom? Because I know today it's Google Meet, but last year it was Zoom. And um, one thing I should mention is that I have Zoom Premium, so I can record more easily. Right now, I'm using like a Screencastify thing to record, but on Zoom, I can use everything, record more easily. So yeah, um, right now everyone's saying Zoom, so I guess Zoom next time. I know that's because I also have a Google Calendar set up with the professors, and those are all on Google Meet. So I'll have to let the professors know. But yeah, it looks like the consensus is Zoom. So then I'll try to switch to Zoom next time. Um, and then okay, let me just write that down. All right. And also, please remember to join the Discord if you haven't. Um, has everyone here joined the Discord? Okay.
Yes.
That was badly phrased. I should have said, has anyone here not joined the Discord? But it looks like everyone here has joined the Discord, so that's good. Um, Again, I'll send out the link to the Discord once again in the follow up email. And yeah, that's essentially it. Do you have any questions? All right. Yeah, everyone, if you could raise your hand so I could go down in order. Jaden, you can go first.
Are you gonna send a new meeting code every meeting, or is it the same one?
So since we're switching to Zoom, it's probably gonna be one Zoom meeting code that I'll keep consistent. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, If we were gonna do Google Meet, it'd be a new one each meeting. But I think since we're switching to Zoom now, it should be fine. I'll keep one, and
Okay.
I'll send out the link to the Zoom before every meeting, so you'll be updated.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Kaylee.
So I don't know if you like mentioned this already, but basically, like once we're like towards the end of our projects, like, are you gonna like set up individual like meetings to like like kind of like a science fair to see like whose is like um good, and then like theirs will get published? Is that like how it would work?
That's actually a good question. I feel like I didn't go into that enough. So the individual meetings, the main purpose is going to be for me to record y'all's presentations. So if you do the capstone project, then each of y'all are going to have the opportunity to showcase your stuff in the virtual symposium. Um, I want everyone to be able to showcase their research in the virtual symposium if you do the capstone project. The professors and I were talking about like a little reward system for like the best capstone projects. We haven't fully decided on that one yet, but Professor Rust actually has some really interesting ideas. So I'll keep you posted on that. But just try your best on the capstone projects. It's still like 2 months away. So as we go through the researches and literatures throughout the process of this club, like take notes on what you find interesting, and maybe that could be the topic for your capstone project. But yeah, everyone who does the project is going to be able to showcase their work, no matter what.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Bhavya?
Yeah, kind of like also about the capstone project, like where would it be published and kind of like does everyone have the chance to like have it published?
Yeah, last year for my capstone project, I published mine in a high school journal, Journal of Student Research. So it wasn't really like a competitive one or anything, but it was like my first like publication. So it worked out, and they accepted it. So for most of the capstone projects, we're gonna chase high school research publications. And there's different rankings to those too. There's like Journal of Student Research, which is like, you know, if you put in enough work, you'll probably get into. And there's also like Columbia, which is like really, really competitive. I think it's like a 2% acceptance or something. So it's up to you where you want to submit your capstone project, depending on how worthy you think your work is. And we'll also, give you advice on how worthy not worthy, but how competitive we think it is, and then where you should submit it to. But yeah, that's ultimately up to the researcher to decide where they want to publish. But
Thank you.
like, I'll send out like a list of all the high school publications places that I know of, and like even beyond high school ones, if the capstone projects are that outstanding. All right, Rishi.
So just like a couple lighter questions. So you said you record the capstone presentations, so those will be sent out to us, right?
Yeah, the capstone presentations will be sent out to you. If you don't like it, we can re-record. But yeah, and
Okay.
then those will be sent out to you. You're gonna have to write a little blurb about yourself, so we can have a little bio under the video where you present on the virtual symposium. It'll just be like it'll be like a symposium or like a science fair where you kind of just you have your presentation and a little bit about yourself, and then like maybe like a copy of your presentation in your paper.
Okay. And at the end of like the summer course, will we have to like indicate, hey, we're gonna continue on and do the capstone project, or is it like do we just get started?
I feel like everyone who joined this would like to do the capstone project. I mean, if you don't have to, but it's just an opportunity that we're extending to y'all because you have two professors that you can have help on with the capstone project. So I feel like that's a really good. I feel like that's a perk. So if you don't want to, you don't have to. But the capstone project is going to be a great opportunity for everyone here.
Thank you.
Uh, Shrihith?
For the capstone project, are we allowed to work in like groups?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can work in groups. I think I'd limit it to like a pair, maybe a trio, but nothing more than that. Um, and if you think you could, because this is an online thing, so everyone, I'm assuming everyone's in different places. But if you know or if you live near someone else from this club, or you know someone else from this club really well, then yeah, sure, you can work with them.
And then we would like publish alongside the professors, right?
Publish as you go along the process. Is that what you said?
Like we would like at the end we would publish like with the professors, right?
That depends on how much the professors like helped you. So, if it's last year, I just published it myself, and the professor said that was better than putting their name on it because that shows that you did everything yourself, you know. And like I feel like that's a big thing with like research. A lot of people want to have that professor name on their research, but a lot of the times having your own name just there with an authentic and well built research paper is so much more because it shows that you yourself had the initiative to push everything along and do everything yourself. But also, you know, like I also worked with Professor Rush for another paper, and then he was a secondary author. So it depends on how much work the professors help out with. And I can't guarantee they're going to help out with all of y'all because, you know, they're professors, they're busy. But if you reach out to them, they're definitely going to help you on some of the questions you have. Maybe not the entire research, but yeah, they'll definitely be a resource. Ender?
For the project, I'm sorry if you already clarified this, but would it have to be based on the articles we read, or if we have a portion of neurology that we're really fascinated in, would we be able to write the project on that specifically?
Oh yeah, you can write the project on anything you want, as long as it's neuroscience related. And also for the papers we read, they're gonna be I think week 4, where talked about Yamanaka factors. That's gonna be basically a blank week. So I want y'all to tell me what topics you're really interested in, so we can probably maybe go over one of those topics as a paper. But yeah, um, the capstone project can be done on whatever topic you want. Bavia?
I had the same question. I forgot to lower the hand.
Okay. Kushi? Kushi, I don't think we can hear you. Could you type it in the chat? Yeah, just type it in the chat. While Kushi does that, let me check. Purna Dithya, is that right?
Yeah, you can just call me Deethia.
Okay.
I was wondering if there would be any leadership positions open this year for like the cycle of the club.
Um,
Um,
right now, this year, it's just gonna be the two professors and I as the supervisors. Like I said, you if you show that you're really engaged and you're willing to contribute to like the slideshows and the reviews and everything, I might like make you maybe a leader of like a breakout group during the discussions, and you could maybe I can maybe put you in to manage, I guess, some of the emails or stuff like that.
I
But this
see.
year, the main thing's gonna be the professors and I as the
Got
supervisors.
got it. Okay, I was just wondering. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for Kushi, the publication. So, well, like I said, I'm gonna send out a list of all the major high school publication opportunities that are available, and obviously I can help you along with that. But it's gonna be up to you to publish it. So you can go on the publication website, submit your abstract or whatever that they require, and see if you get accepted or not. But as we get along to that point, I'll talk more about how publication works for those that don't know. But yeah, it's like submitting. It's you just gotta submit your paper on a website, and then they'll let you know if you get in or not. One thing that does you gotta know is that publication takes a long time. So we're all gonna chase publication, but I can't guarantee that y'all get results by October. Probably it takes 2 or 3 months to see if you even accept it or not. But the publication thing itself, like putting your paper and putting your abstract in, we can help you with that if you need. Okay. Are there any more questions? If not, 1 second, let me get the attendance form. And then y'all can fill that out, and that'll be it for the first meeting. 1 second. All right, I pasted the attendance form in the chat. Please fill that out. And then once you're done, you can leave. Thank you everyone for showing up. This was really amazing. So this was way more people than I thought there would be. So thank you so much. And again, please ask me or the professors any questions you have. I can't guarantee their professors' prompt responses, but I'll try to be as prompt as I can. So yeah, just reach out to me. Um, and yeah, thank you so much for coming. I'll see y'all next meeting.